Imagine walking down the street, minding your own business, when a stranger suddenly turns and shouts a pointed insult directly at you. Before your conscious mind can even process the words, your biology takes over. Your heart rate spikes, your breath narrows, and a wave of defensiveness floods your system, hijacking your brain long before logic has a chance to intervene. This physiological hijacking happens dozens of times a day, triggered by aggressive drivers, passive-aggressive emails from coworkers, or even a perceived weird look from a passerby. While most people spend their entire lives as prisoners to these external nudges, a rare few seem to move through the same world entirely unshaken. They possess a quality of internal weight, acting like a mountain that simply echoes back a scream without being moved or damaged by the sound. Most of us operate like pieces on a board, convinced that the people and circumstances around us are the ones making the moves and dictating our value. But as long as we believe our emotional state is at the mercy of external chaos, we remain powerless, merely reacting to a world we cannot control. If the exact same insult can shatter one person while leaving another completely unmoved, the power cannot reside in the words themselves. This suggests that external events are actually neutral. They only gain power if they find an existing hook inside of us to attach to. Carl Jung argued that the outside world serves as a mirror, reflecting our own unmastered internal traits back at us for our own inspection. Jung identified this as the shadow self, the unconscious repository for every fear, insecurity, and wound we haven't yet had the courage to face directly. When an external event triggers an intense reaction, it's because it has struck a chord with our shadow. We only feel anger at an insult if some hidden part of us deeply fears it might be true. Someone who triggers you serves as a blunt instrument, hitting a psychological bruise you've been carrying long before they arrived. In this light, every irritation and emotional spike becomes a vital map, showing us exactly where our hidden insecurities still reside. Our usual defense against this discomfort is to double down on external control. We demand respect from others and try to force life to follow a predictable, fair path. This creates a paradox. The moment you decide you need someone's approval or a specific outcome to feel okay, you have effectively handed them the remote control to your nervous system. You see the results of this loss of power in those who are so desperate for validation that they inadvertently repel it, or those so fearful of uncertainty that they sabotage their own progress through constant resistance. Neuroscience confirms that this isn't just a matter of willpower, but of biological habit. Constant reactivity carves deep neural pathways into the brain. Over time, these loops become so entrenched that any situation outside of our control feels physically threatening to our survival, locking us in a state of chronic stress. However, because the brain is plastic, we can rewire these circuits. Through deliberate mindfulness and the choice to sit with discomfort without reacting, we can physically break these old neural habits. True power is found not in making the world behave, but in dismantling the internal neural loops that keep us at its mercy. By internalizing these lessons, you move toward a state of untouchable presence, a level of self-mastery where you no longer look to the world to validate your worth. Developing this state requires a shift in identity, seeing yourself as the pure awareness that observes emotions rather than the emotions themselves. Consider the way of a violent storm rages with wind and thunder, representing the temporary chaos of external life. While the storm is loud, the sky behind it remains the untouched backdrop. Emotional freedom comes from identifying with that vast, calm sky. The next time you feel a trigger rising, pause. Study the feeling with the detached curiosity of a scientist observing an experiment, creating a gap between the sensation and your response. When you stop reacting with desperation or defensiveness, you stop creating the social friction that pushes people and opportunities away. By clearing that internal noise, you finally gain the clarity needed to see and seize the possibilities that were always right in front of you. You are no longer a piece being shoved around the board. You have become the observer, watching the game from a distance that ensures your peace. Mastering your internal reactions is the ultimate pivot. It's the moment you cease to be a puppet of the world and begin to step into the power of shaping your own reality.